All right, everybody, it is September. It is back to school time, and that means it's time to talk about backpacks. So there's a few different backpack designs when you're looking for a backpack. If you don't already have one, level 1 backpack design is classic backpack. Usually one big main compartment and then just 2 classic straps, no strap across the chest and no strap for lumbar support. Classic backpack. This is kind of what I consider a level 1 design out of 3 different levels for backpacks. In this one, you wouldn't want to load a whole bunch of weight because you just have these 2 straps that are going to be putting pressure on your shoulders. So you don't want to load these guys up with too much weight, but they look nice usually. So there's a pro to that. Level 1. And then level 2 of backpack is like this. So this one has chest straps that go across the normal backpack straps, whereas the last one you just have these 2 straps here. This one at least has a chest strap so that it will help distribute weight more evenly across your upper body at least. So this one's pretty good. And then level 3 backpack, here we have a chest strap that goes across, and then also a lumbar strap with padding extra in here, and we've got padding in the back. This one is definitely meant to carry more weight and distribute it a lot more evenly throughout the body. So there's 3 kind of different levels to a backpack. Depending on what kind of needs you have and how much weight you're going to carry in your backpack, you might choose one versus another. Okay, so when it comes to weight distribution, it's really helpful to just start out point blank with what is the actual guideline on how much weight you should have in a backpack if you're carrying one. So the general rule is about 10 to 15% of your total body weight, the person that's going to carry the backpack. So if it's a 100-pound person, 10 to 15 pounds of weight is what would be recommended. So 10 to 15% of total body weight is what's generally recommended to carry in a backpack. And you especially want to follow that guideline if you're just using a classic backpack like this that doesn't have a whole lot of weight distribution beyond just the 2 straps. There's nothing going across the chest to distribute that across the chest, and then there's also nothing across the lumbar area to distribute across the lower body as well. So regardless of what kind of weight you're putting in a backpack, you're gonna put something in it. That's the reason that you're carrying it. So how do you arrange your stuff and organize your stuff in your backpack to help distribute the weight a little bit more and make it a little bit easier on your body? The best way to do that, general rule of thumb, is the heaviest items you want the closest to your back, and the lightest items can be away from your back further in the backpack. So you typically want to start, especially if you're carrying something like a laptop or anything like that, you definitely want to put heavy items like that in the back, towards the shoulder straps, towards where your back is. You want it the closest to that. So I'm going to drop that in there, and then you typically want to go from heaviest to lightest as you pack your backpack. That's going to save you a lot, and the reason that that saves you is because if you think about it, if you hold a weight close to you, that's pretty easy to do. But if you try to hold the weight further away from you, it's a lot harder and it gets really heavy really quickly. And so the same thing applies when you're stacking a backpack, is you want the heaviest items the closest to you, the lightest further away from you, and that's gonna save you a lot. Okay, so chiropractic specific advice for carrying a backpack. First and foremost, I'm just gonna start with the most obvious. If you're carrying a backpack and it gets heavy and it starts hurting you, just take the dang thing off. You don't have to try to power through it. Take breaks, especially if you're standing somewhere, bus stop, something like that, or at a class. Don't try to power through and just blow through the pain. pain is a signal. It's trying to tell you that something's wrong. So go ahead and just take that backpack off. Another thing though is if you start to get a little bit of tension and it's a little bit more chronic than just right there in that moment, and you start getting tension in your neck, shoulder blades, upper back, that kind of thing, I've got a great video about what's called a scapular push-up. So it's very similar to push-up position for starting, but go check out that video. I will link it somewhere around this video right now as I'm speaking, so that you can click on that if that's you, and if you need just a little bit of relief for the upper back, especially from carrying a backpack, just go check out that video. It'll be a great way to kind of relieve that area and strengthen you so that you'll be able to carry your backpack typically for longer. Okay, so long-term impact for carrying a backpack. Just in the same way that bad posture, whether it's sitting posture or standing posture, can affect your spine, and they create issues that are longer lasting, like degenerative disc disease and things like that, shifts of the spine that we might be able to address as chiropractors. The same things can happen when carrying a backpack, except now there's more than just your body weight on it. So the same way that a bad posture could affect your spine, if you had bad posture and then you add 25 pounds of weight in the form of a backpack on top of that, it could exacerbate some existing issues that may or may not be present in your own spine by carrying a backpack. So I highly recommend getting checked by a chiropractor whether you have pain or not, because sometimes these little shifts of the spine can be underlying where you don't even feel them. They don't necessarily cause pain all the time, but especially if you have pain, it's a good indication to go get checked out to just make sure that there's not any shifts of the spine that are causing that issue for you. So again, just check out a chiropractor, let them check you out, and make sure that nothing is going on with your spine to keep you as happy and healthy and able to carry backpacks for as long as you want to.